back with Chapter 17 of Yellowface. We start off with June being a judgmental ass. She's now surprised that Trump supporters have been making videos about the drama she created with her plagiarism scandal because she's surprised that Trump supporters would read a book about Chinese laborers. She acts like she would even have a clue what a Trump supporter's interests are. June thinks of Trump supporters as a big blob of congealed goo who all think the same. Newsflash, Trump supporters are humans, all of whom have different interests. Words cannot express how annoyed I get at people like June who think they know everything about Trump supporters despite never having talked to one in their entire lives. There's also a racist undertone here when June says, which has created a strange situation in which thousands of Trump voters are buying a book about mistreated Chinese laborers. Leftists like June think everyone who likes Trump is racist.
Racist policies.
I have to tell you, there are racist people in the world, of all kinds, a lot of which belong to the left, but June won't look at it that way. Obviously, I'm not a Trumper. I voted for Biden. Why the fuck is this in here? This is supposed to be a fiction book, not a pissing political campaign speech. Quant, an expert at analyzing and managing quantitative data. Maybe I'll enroll in some online quant boot camps and then go into consulting. You think you can be an expert at analyzing data? You can't even understand that writing a book centered entirely on race makes you racist while adding political garbage into your alleged fictional story! The only fiction here is that the right are all racist. June is once again racist to her own face, where being white does not make you boring and redundant, but rather a perfectly average and desirable hire. Kuang is a leftist, so she's piling on more evidence that the left is very, very racist.
Racist policies.
June is whining again that she has no friends. And she says this. Writing gave me a reason to stay alive, and as miserable as it makes me, I'll cling to that magic for as long as I live. So, writing is the reason you stay alive, but it makes you miserable. Do you hear yourself? Then we get June trying to brainstorm. It doesn't go well because brainstorming requires brain cells, of which June has none. The premise is cool, but it's too daunting to research so many different historical periods. Translation. The premise is cool, but I can't be bothered to do any research because I'm a lazy fuck. On page 178, we get this. Maybe I could write about the missing Chinese survivors of the Titanic. On page 173, I read this. Just maybe something that isn't about a Chinese girl, okay? Your editor literally told you to stop pissing writing about Chinese girls. Do you have amnesia? Shouldn't it be equally viable to write about Russian immigrants or African refugees? Here's an idea. How about for a minuscule second you stop thinking about race? Are you capable of that? I could call up one of my aunts to ask, use that as a bridge to Jewish history and mythology. And I know for a fact that my mother's spoken about having some Cherokee heritage before. Do you see yet that the left is obsessed with race? This book is evidence of this. June decides to get inspiration around town, so she goes to the dry cleaners and says this. Crowded, efficient owner is either Greek or Russian, and is it racist that I can't tell which? No, but it is racist that you keep looking at everyone and trying to group them by race. Stop it! June goes to the Trader Joe's in Koreatown and says this. No one wants to read about the culinary politics of Trader Ming's. No one wants to read this book either, yet you still wrote it. June goes to a restaurant and says this. The strong, musty, dumpster-like smell wafting from the kitchen doors is killing my appetite. I have a question. Why did you pissing go in and eat there? Do you make a habit of smelling a foul odor which leads you to think this will be a great place to eat? Have you misplaced that 1/4 of a brain cell? I can't make up stories about these people without knowing a thing about them. Why not? You make up stories about conservatives throughout the entire book with no problem. June has trouble striking up a conversation with an employee, and she says this. What's wrong with a friendly conversation? Maybe you can't carry on conversations because you're insufferable and wouldn't know what the words friendly conversation meant if they knocked on your door and tried to deliver Chinese food to you. Okay, I say, as dismissively as possible. See, when you dismiss people with your words, it's no wonder you don't know what a friendly conversation is. I don't know what you're trying to do here, but we want no part of it. Actually, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Based. Your writing is bad when the only characters your readers like are the ones who insult your main character. She probably doesn't have the right to kick me out. She absolutely does. Businesses have the right to serve whom they want. Brett calls June again with ideas for novels, and she rejects them all. June gets smug about superheroes. What, like a superhero novel? No thanks, Brett. I still have standards. You think you have standards, June? I thought you liked Wonder Woman. Someone mocks my enthusiastic review of Wonder Woman from 2018. So you like her, but you think that superhero stories have no standards. Are you saying Wonder Woman has no standards? Superheroes save the world from evil like you, using the standards of morality, so insulting them by saying they don't have standards proves you're evil. June continues being delusional when she says this. So that I can focus on what I'm good at, which is writing beautifully. I think you mean good at writing racism, dear. Brett has another Chinese social issue topic where the story would be about a society where the one-child policy is wreaking havoc. Brett then pitches her the storyline for The Handmaid's Tale. Don't know if you know this, dude, but that book has already been written. June rejects this as well and says this. Brett, that's idiotic. No one in their right mind is going to want to work on that. 2 weeks later, June finds out that a woman named Heidi Steele has taken the job instead and says this. I'm wrong, in fact. Oh, I'm so surprised. Not. They're not worried we're going to offend, like, all of China? Why is it that the only people you don't give a shit about offending are the conservatives? Why is it that you care so much about foreigners rather than your fellow Americans? Why? Why are leftists so insufferable? Here's a question. If leftists are so scared of conservatives, why do they take every opportunity to bully conservatives? Do you bully people you're afraid of? I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. Chapter 17 was a disgusting mess, and I'm confident it will continue to get worse as I keep reading.